How can we keep ourselves and our employees and our customers safe and keep our businesses going? How can we kickstart these businesses in challenging times like these? Well, help is finally here. First National Bank has just delivered the impossible. Whether you run a small to medium sized business or a mid to large commercial business, you can enjoy 3 months free banking with any of their business check accounts when you switch and open a new business check account. So get access to trade services for global payment through their online banking enterprise. You can also monitor your business activity in real time and reduce the internal fraud with free In Contact Pro and email statements. So walk into any First National Bank branch today in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, and Takrade, or call 0242 435 050. There's also a toll-free number, 0800 770 522. You can also reach them via firstnationalbank.com.gh, and their business relationship managers will come to you. First National Bank, how can we help you? So, what's in the papers?
Okay, I'll start with the Daily Graphic this morning. Headline: Suspend all activities in forest reserves. Lands Minister directs 16 excavators seized in the Western region. Passed tax exemptions bill to check financial drain. Attorney General revives Ernest Thompson's case. Push investment into road infrastructure. That's according to an expert. And on the back page, the government and LMI Holdings, who are the owners of the Dawa Industrial Zone, to build more industrial parks. That's it for the Daily Graphic.
Well, the Business and Financial Times says the ADB MOFA, that's the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, present 570,000 to 2020 National Best Farmer, and increasing utility tariffs will collapse private businesses. That's the Ghana Employers Association warning there. And economy may not return to normality in 2021. That's according to the EIU, as nationwide vaccination could take several years. We'll tell you more about this particular story. Access Bank hosts Pan-African Women Conference, and Zoom Lion donates buses in support of Let's Make Accra Work projects.
Now, the Ghanaian Times has these stories on the front page. That prospecting in forest reserves story is also here. The respond promptly to early warning signals. Chief of Staff to regional ministers. That's what the Chief of Staff, with the picture with the marks on, is saying on the front page. Boost for Let Accra Work Again. Zoom Lion donates 2 buses to RCC. Now, 98 Togolese Beninois illegal immigrants arrested in Volta region. So when we closed our borders, they got in and they were arrested in the bus.
But you right now go to the Lagos station, and there are buses shouting "loading for Lagos." How are they going to get there?
Anyway, maybe they'll fly the car. Tema Impakadan Railway project to be completed in November. That's the story on the front page of the Ghanaian Times too.
Okay, so the scripture on the front page of the Chronicle this morning, 1 Corinthians 10 verse 26, for the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. The banner headline is Stop Prospecting in Forest Reserves, Government Orders License Holders. There's an interesting story on the front page, Phone Tracker Blows Cover of Thieves. So some people went to steal phones. One of them was an iPhone Max Pro. The tracker thingy in the phone was working. And they were able to track the phones to the thief's residence and catch them.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's what it's meant for. Yeah.
Well, indeed.
If you have it, you should activate it.
You should.
Yes.
Yeah, you should.
You should have the iPhone in the first place.
Innocence,
Exactly.
I knew that was coming. Innocence Ghanaian jailed 10 years in Dubai. This is interesting. Oh, listen to the headline. Innocence Ghanaian jailed 10 years in Dubai for exporting weed.
Okay, I know why it says that. So apparently, some people are being victimized. They are, first of all, they are traveling through agents, so they get the visas and everything done by some agent who will then give them some package of kinky to please go and give to my cousin in Dubai.
Yeah.
Not knowing the kinky.
Have his stuff.
Yes.
Pretty much the same thing happened in this one. There was an agent, and apparently he had given him parcels. So
Yes.
He's been jailed in Dubai. So be careful when you're trying to get a visa and trying to travel. Okay, the
Don't take
Chronicle
any package that you can't vouch for.
vouch for
Sometimes, yeah.
exactly. Okay, there's a lot of sports on the back page of the Chronicle. The most important thing in sports though is that Barcelona won the game yesterday. So
Just like Atletico Madrid. But And let me continue with the Daily Statesman because Barcelona is still third anyway.
Who are, and they're all out of the Super League, so.
Yes. And the Daily Statesman says, leave the forest reserves now. Government directs companies engaged in mining and prospecting. And it says, Ghana School of Law to celebrate legacy of late Ochame Bafo Osei Akoto. So that's the Ri Akoto case. And this is the father of the Food and Agriculture Minister, be the guest speaker. Ernest Thompson, others charged again over $14.8 million loot, according to the statesman.
Now, the Daily Guide has these stories. Akufo-Addo is my paddy, Iti Mensah, and court grants Agrada 500,000 Ghana cedi bail, rearrested by police for other issues. And Agrada is a popular traditional priestess. Her actual name is Patience Esiedua. And there's an interesting video of her singing in bed, singing gospel in bed after her release, telling her enemies that God has saved her and that Jesus Christ has worked magic for her.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. You know how sometimes people cross religious lines when it's very convenient.
Jesus Christ works magic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, well, on the front page of the Ghanaian Observer, Galamsey fights. Government bans mining activities in forest reserves. President's Director of Communication donates. Jubilation in Asin South over Ntim Fodjo's nomination. Fresh charges against Ernest Thompson. 4 others filed, and that's the Senate OBS scandal. And Let's Make Accra Work project, like Raymond said, gets major boost.
Well, so the New Weekend Crusading Guide talks about that particular story on the ban on prospecting in forest reserves. And court finds GOC 1,000 and grants motion to reopen case. Talks about a Zoom Lion donation of buses. And remove our MCE, a Shaiman residents demand. And I'm very grateful Deputy Works and Housing Minister appreciates President.
Now, that story about prospecting is still the lead story on the front page of the Find. That the other stories like GRA bans cash payments effective June 1, and Akufo-Addo appoints Oboshi Kofi as Media and Strategic Communications Advisor. National Tripartite Committee begins processes to set new minimum wage, and Ghana's economy bounces back on growth path. That's what's on the front page of the Find Out too. But it's a story that I need to spend a small time on. That's the prospecting part. So yesterday, the minister issued a statement. The Lands and Natural Resources Minister. He says that it's been abused. They go in with recognizance license. They go and say that they are doing the recognizance, but by the time you check, they have actually done a lot more prospecting and even some illegal mining in the process. So they should all put it on hold. Regional Security Council should check that they are actually not working on the ground there, and we are back to 2017. It does remind me of when we said that, no, we have banned every single act related to small-scale mining. In fact, even those along the mining chain, some others were regulated in that line. We put in systems. We said we had done some plan to make sure that there is multilateral integrated mining, recovery of the lands and all of that, just to drop all within 2 years when a certain interministerial committee became the ones. When we said we're giving back licenses to those who have trained, go and ask them. The small-scale miners, they'll tell you that I know Kojo and I are both former small-scale miners. Today, Kojo gets back the licenses purely based on connections with government or ability to pay, and I am unable to do the same thing. So some of them also went back in there and started operating. And because of partisan politics, we couldn't keep it up. I'm hoping against hope, let's be clear, that this time I should be able to do it. Because things have not changed. This is not a new government, it's the same government.
Yeah.
So the expectation is that you've learned your own lessons in office and can do something different on this one. If nothing happens, which is more likely the case because of how we do our politics, it will be continual destruction of our waterways. And I am not pleased seeing the minister going around there checking up the water bodies that have been polluted as if we all did not know. We kept on saying this thing. Just last year, we spent a very long time. Erastus was with them all throughout, talking about this same thing.
Got harassed and
yes, so it's not new. So
molested and abused.
and that's how sometimes I get worried. We are more likely interested in the publicity of it rather than doing the work and letting people know that we have fixed the problem once and for all. And this one, it is purely at the doorstep of government, nobody else.
I would perhaps have a little more confidence if I heard those, responsible for dealing with this, actually admitting that this thing is not as easy. It's not so easy. And admitting that, look, it's going to take something different.
Yeah.
But you don't feel very confident when it seems as if it's business as usual, and
The
you
same
keep hearing
route we
these
took previously.
extremely confident proclamations that we are going to deal with it. We are going to deal with it. It just makes us feel a bit of deja vu, like we've been through this before.
John Peter, who stopped some of the people when they were on the ground, got the police to arrest them, took them out for prosecution, and those were the ones that gave people hope that, oh yes, we're going to do something. But you see, 2 years down the line, we are where we are today.
where we are.
And again, if somebody's abusing their license, why are they not arrested and prosecuted? Because the minister admits in the statement that we know that's what's happening. Why are you just giving blanket, oh, stop the work, as if they have done they are doing good, yet you're asking them to reform their works. They are breaching your own rules. The LI is clear or not to be done. They can,
revealed this massive site, the size of several football fields. And in the end, when they stripped the veil, the person who claimed to be in charge of that site was
Forestry Commission.
and said, please, you guys, please let us get on with it. Please leave. So he's not even putting his hands up and saying, I'm culpable, or otherwise saying that, look, I'll meet you in court or whatever. No, he's asking them to leave so he can continue doing what he's doing.
Well, so it's important that we ensure the right things are done. But one other thing that caught my attention is the Business and Financial Times story about the economy not returning to normality in 2021. Because, we had talked about vaccinating some 20 million Ghanaians. Well, unfortunately, we have less than 1 million vaccines so far in the country. And according to the EIU's report, the 20% that we're even thinking of, the 20 million that we're thinking of, will take us several years to do so. Even if we want to vaccinate 20% of the population, it will take us. He made the point that, look, even if Ghana had money, he mentions Ghana's name, even if you have the money, there's nowhere to buy the vaccine.
Yeah.
And that the AU signed a deal with a contract with Johnson & Johnson. They signed that contract in March. And Johnson & Johnson says, well, you can only get the vaccines in the third quarter of the year. Even there, you are hoping that you're able to get it. And you see, because around this time, a lot of our movements have been curtailed as a result of COVID-19. You're not getting a lot of people spending, which will drive growth. Even though the fourth quarter of last year did well, according to the EIU, it doesn't look like we'll get to the expected growth rate for 2021 because of the challenges associated with our vaccination program.
So let me ask you guys a question, a quick straw poll, if you like. If government had said to us, 5-6 weeks ago, when it became clear that every vaccine has a queue, and we are nowhere near the front. If government had actually said to us at the time that, look, we are doing everything to get this vaccine, but it looks like we won't. We are trying, but it looks like we won't, based on the reality of what's in front of us. The fact that other countries are now jumping. You remember Germany and Italy and France? They used to question the Sputnik V vaccine because it didn't go through some of the paths to approval that the other vaccines did, even though it did get approved in the end. They questioned it. Now they are first in line. They are on the phone to Putin.
Yeah.
Okay, so some countries like Ghana that had already agreed to use Sputnik V have been pushed back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's no longer a money thing.
It's true.
Right. So I'm asking, my question is, if government had said to us at that time that, look, it's starting to look bad. We are being jostled out of the way, and it may turn out to be more of a challenge than we thought to get new vaccines. If they had said that instead of there are vaccines coming, would you have criticized them for it?
But I think that when I spoke,
I wouldn't. I mean, I thought so throughout, and I know how my government acts. I know how my government has optimism that sometimes unfounded and all of that. So I was not so convinced that it was going to be the case.
But when you
right from the
transmit
beginning.
that optimism to people whose lives depend on it, and then you have to pull the rug from under them.
Today is 22nd, 23rd.
yes, today's 23rd.
Yeah.
23rd. How many days more for you to get
4
your second
more
one?
days.
4 more days.
For me, it's about 7
more
or
days.
8
So we've
more
been told
days.
to wait.
But the thing is, I'm sorry, Winston, Kojo, I think that if the government had gone that route, it would have been better. The reason I say this is that our numbers, if you compare it globally, have not been too bad. Yes, we've had problems. Sometimes we're not sure of the numbers, we're not sure of the reporting, but Ghanaians have proved we've showed a certain sort of ability to not have been overly affected by COVID-19
Like other countries.
So I think that with the right education, saying that, look, people, we may not get the vaccine, so social distance, let's manage our church systems, let's manage our crowd gathering, let's manage our parties, our Christmas, I think we would have been fine. Yes, please.
They still go to the beach. They still go to the beach, please.
They still go to the
They
beach.
still go to the beach. Just
Still
last
at the
week, they are
beach.
still
Today,
going to the beach.
I'm sure there are some people
What's the name of the
sitting
place?
on
La
the...
Pleasure Beach. They go there. They go there virtually every day. If you want to see,
Are pubs
we all
shut?
drive.
No.
no, not at all. I've seen some on Instagram. I can even mention their name, but if
When I spoke, when we spoke to Dr. Patrick Mabwaji the last time, he admitted that, look, it is true. They haven't gotten the vaccines. They're hoping to get the vaccines. Because, I mean, around this time, you hope. You hope.
But
no, he's at,
unfounded
I'm saying
hope.
You see, the communication should
Now
be
they've
influenced
admitted.
by
They've
the
admitted that,
changing
they've
situation.
admitted that.
Yeah, but
They
it's
haven't
not just, you see, it's not about them admitting it. This is not about finding fault. It's about managing the pandemic. Okay? So you know that the vaccines are not going to come. It's not about finding fault. No one wants to do some fake promise that the thing is coming when you know it's not coming. That's my concern. So people are acting as if they are protected. You are not.
I get that impression.
Yeah.
People think they are actually.
All right.
Definitely. The online news review
It's brought to us by Zenith Bank, in your best interest, and Goyle, good energy.
Now, Goyle higher grade fuels have been tried, tested, proven, and accepted over the years as the most suitable for all engine types, including the latest vehicles with the most modern engines. In addition to these superior qualities, Goyle higher grade fuels are further fortified with the XP3 additive, multifunctional enhancer, more efficient, eco-friendly, and sold at no extra cost. Goyle higher grade fuels come in Goyle Super XP, Ron 95, and Diesel XP, sold in every Goyle station and not just selected stations. Fill up with Goyle higher grade fuels at Jibebia Goyle Good Energy. Goyle, yeah, yetim.
All right, we're going straight to the BBC News, and it's brought to us by
Fidelity Bank. Believe with us.
I nearly gave up on driving out of frustration. What hadn't I done? Purging, replacing electrical parts, changing my fuel pump, and still, the engine noise in my car won't stop. Then I met this guy who said I should try Goyle